Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about AFL. What is AFL and what is it doing here in the UAE? We're going to find out how it began, what's been happening, where it's going here, and more coming up after this. Hey guys, welcome to Fine for People. My name's Grant Goes, and this is a platform that helps you find the best in health, sports, and fitness. We are connecting you today with AFL. If you're new to the channel, and you like the channel, you want to find out more about hot sports and fitness, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you get to know when we put all these videos out on a daily basis, what works for you. Today it's AFL, and guys, I'm going to introduce the darkest, the meanest. His name is Coach Naka, Streetwise UAE. He's now set up a new program called Beatbox, been launching soon. He's the founder of Dubai Dingos, the AFL team here in the UAE. It is Nigel, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
All right, you like the intro, bro?
Yeah, good intro.
Because you've been around for frickin' ages, and you've. I suppose this has to give the listeners the understanding of just quickly in 30 seconds your brief background about you and what you've done in the last.
Mate, well, I've been here for 13 years. Yeah. 14 coming up this year, and came from Sydney, Australia. Moved out with just actually no idea what I wanted to do in the UAE. Had a fitness background from Oz, and started my own fitness boot camps back in the day in 2007, and
before the crash.
Right. And here we are today, man. Almost 14 years on, still in the industry, still in it.
We're going to bring you on a few times, and you guys know out there, we're going to bring Nigel back on a few times because he does a lot of different things. Today we're going to keep to AFL, and Dubai Dingos is something. I mean, there's your Aussie side, your Fijian side coming up. Right?
So. Look, the Dubai Dingos, how I got involved in the club, firstly, we're an Australian football club, AFL for the listeners, which is a brand of football that is a little bit like rugby, but it's a messy version of rugby, I guess.
Yes.
I think a lot of people watch the game and go, yeah, that's not for me. They wear the short shorts. And
if you guys are wondering what we're talking about here on the TV, you can see there is the short shorts.
What I said by messy, that's exactly how the game can be played. But to be honest, I came from a rugby league background back home, so I never played the game until I arrived here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but in saying that, the respect I have for the game and the players and the pros is another level. Do I think in all codes or all across codes, these guys have to be the fittest athletes in across all the codes? And that's without a doubt.
There's I don't know how factual it is, but I hear that players run approximately a half marathon during a game.
Mate, your centres in this game, so the guys who play through the middle, who rove all game, back and forth, can get up to like a minimum is like a 21, 22 kilometre.
In a game?
What? And that's tackling, that's kicking, that's getting off the floor, that's, getting into that ruck. And it's a tough game. You're not getting tackled from front on. You're getting blindsided through this thing, So, the respect is there, man, and you've got to have it. And I think, the AFL League, AFL Middle East, has been around since before I got here. I think they started in 2005.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so the Dingoes are the oldest club on the circuit.
Yeah.
And 2005 is when the AFL Middle East started. And it started as most rugby clubs and sporting clubs start here in the Middle East as a hub for expats to meet.
Totally.
Have a
massive
kick around.
Social side, right?
And you try to get that networking side to it. And it's just developed from there, you know what I mean? So,
bro, what are the fundamentals? Like we talk about, it's a mash of different rugby codes. Yep. What are the fundamentals, or this, I suppose, of Aussie rules that defines it differently to other rugby codes?
Without sounding too, because I've played basically all the codes, but this one in particular, the skill set of running is like in the game of 15s. You can go and stand out to the side and get a rest for half
big
a game.
fatties in there, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. League's the same. You can go and if you're a winger, you might not see the ball if it's played on the other side of the field. You know what I mean? So or a fullback, but this game similar to football, as in soccer, what we call it. Yeah. You're marking a man all game, and if that player is fit, you're running with him the whole game. You know what I mean? And it's 4 quarters. It's crazy. So.
How long are each quarters?
It's 20-minute quarters.
Okay. Right? And how long in between each quarter?
You get 2 minutes in between a quarter, yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then half-time. So, obviously...
It's half-time a little longer?
Half-time, yeah, half-time's... I think they give a 15-minute break at half-time. Okay. So, an AFL game, a pro AFL game that you see in Australia goes up to close to 2 hours. It's televised for a 2-hour thing, so...
Would they stop the in-between as well, or would they stop with breaks or something like that as well? Like, it's American football, they have... Every time there's a commercial break, the game has to stop.
Yeah, no, theirs is just full tilt all the way through, and remember, 20-minute quarter is on the time, but it start-stop. So the ball goes out, stop time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that 20-minute quarter can sometimes last up to 30 minutes. So this is the fitness levels on these guys are another level.
Insane. Okay. The ball's the same shape pretty much. Yeah. What's it made of though?
Leather. Yeah.
It's a leather ball still.
Yeah, exactly,
okay.
Yeah.
And it's the same size as a rugby ball? Or?
Yeah. It's the same size, but in terms of shaping, it's a little bit sharper and heavier. Yeah. Right? Oh, really? So it's way heavier. So that's why you see them kick. Basically, kick to kick, they can hit someone on the chin with that accuracy because it's a little bit heavier. So,
what about the old compared to the American football ball?
Yep.
What's the difference there? I mean, obviously,
again,
it's heavy again.
I think in terms of the bladder inside is smaller in an NFL, but the hide, what it's made out of on the outside, is denser, so it makes it heavier to throw. Okay. That's the same as the AFL and a rugby ball. So it's a thinner hide at the front.
Did not know that, brother.
Yeah.
I was like, sure. Okay, so the fundamentals. When you talk about we talk about the uniform, the white has kind of gone down that way. I mean, traditionally rugby has guys in short shorts anyway, but I mean, I suppose the athlete of a Aussie Rules player is different. It's long, it's linear. I mean, because there's so much more running and involved. The uniform, was it just kind of traditional, or was it just kind of...
from what I've seen, growing up in Australia, or even, I mean, you Kiwis, rugby's your thing, right? So there's no other sport that sort of rivals that. But in Australia, in Australia, we've got a fair, you've got summer sports, winter sports. As a kid, you play a lot of them. But AFL, they've kept it from back in the, 1800s when they were playing it when it started. So they've kept it very traditional. Yeah. The only difference now between their jerseys or Guernseys, as they call them, are the texture that they're made of. They're a lot tighter, but that's across all codes, I guess.
Performance-wise, it enhances and gets better and stuff like that. The development of the game here in the UAE, it started back in 2005. Dubai Dingos is one of the original clubs back here. What's it grown to since then? What's been the development or the evolution of the sport over here in the UAE?
Right, so it started off with the Dingoes and another team that back in the day when, let's go from 2007, when Dubai was being built, and I'm talking construction-wise, the Multiplex group from Australia had a massitive presence here, and they still do. They still do.
Yeah. I actually know those fellas. Yeah. I don't know them.
Yeah. So they had a lot of their boys were from Melbourne. So traditionally being from Melbourne, AFL is their sport in Australia. So they put a team together and they called themselves the Dubai Heat.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it was the Dingoes and the Heat basically. And, I remember the Dingoes when I first joined had enough players for 2 teams.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So we have a modified version of what we play out here because we can only play on football pitches or soccer pitches, so it's square. So we play a version of the game which is 9s.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so we have 3 up front, 3 middle, 3 back. Same rules, same everything else, but you've only got 9 people on the pitch at any one time. So we used to have numbers for 2 teams, so there'd be 4 teams rotating, and it used to start as a every 2 week thing.
Okay, yeah.
We'd play, and but now we have 4 teams in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Then we had, but they're coming back into the comp, Muscat Magpies. So, and who else have we got? We are getting back the Doha Kangaroos as well. So,
cool, awesome.
Yeah, so across the region, there's probably going to be 8 teams as of next year.
What does it mean, like from obviously the financial commitment to that side of things and the travel side of things?
Yeah.
There is in the rugby. They got the Bahrain team that plays in the rugby side of things. So, as a club, how does it affect the clubs do they have to travel now to Doha, to travel to Muscat?
With the biggest thing was obviously in the last 3 or 4 years, whenever it was when they did the whole, we couldn't fly over to was it
Qatar, Doha?
Doha,
yeah.
Right? So Doha Kangaroos had to pull out of the comp naturally. They had no one to play. But now with all this being lifted in the next next year. They want to come back in the comp. And yes, we've all have to fly to our different parts of the region. Then comes the talk of sponsorships.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's expensive. Like,
it's so different. Like you talk about European teams, they can drive. I mean, these small clubs. There's so much popularity, I suppose, within the country and in Europe, and it's not till you get to representative level do you start traveling. The financials, financials easier then. Yeah. But here, it's literally guys that do a 9-to-5 job and do it for social fun. They're still like going for networking.
And that's the thing is, like, I think across, we had a game last weekend, and it's coming up to finals time of the season. Looking around, there's a lot of, there's not many players left from back then, from when the 2007 sort of seasons. But the age bracket...
13 years, bro.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, gone home, But the age bracket is still between the 30 and 40 mark.
Oh, really?
Right, and that's quite old to be still playing contact sport. You know what I mean?
And running there fast.
Yeah, exactly. So there are, someone like the Multiplex Bulls, they've got a younger squad because they've got the construction boys that are coming from Australia. The first team they pick is the Bulls.
Okay.
So they're probably sitting around the 26 to 30-year-old mark. So they've still got that gas tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in terms of sponsorship, it's that's what we rely on to get all our teams through. We have the support of the AFL Australia, but not financially at the moment. So.
Put the name on, put the label up.
Exactly. We'll give you a few footies and keep you happy.
Cheers, fellas. Guys, we're talking about AFL and the UAE, the game explained. So if you guys have any comments, questions, chuck them in the comment section down below. If you have any feedback, let us know. Also, and if you want to share your thoughts, just chuck them down in the comment section. Happy to answer for them. We'll be back to talk more about AFL very shortly. So hang around, and we're just going to show a short video about the Fine for People app that's due out at the end of February. Wrong month. Here we go. February. See you soon.
We've all been there. Hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you've posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fine for People. We're talking about AFL in the UAE. So you got any comments, you want thoughts, just share them on the comment section down below. Happy to answer and connect. Bro, we talked a lot about the game and stuff like that. We talked about development of the sport here in the UAE. What I want to get into is kind of because as any sport in a young developing nation, because this is what the UAE is, it's developing a young nation when it comes to sports. What is kind of the barriers to growth or to scaling the competition or to scaling teams?
Right, so we spoke about this last Thursday. We had a Thursday night game under lights. As I said, we're coming up to the finals part of the season. So our season runs basically for 6 months, and we go on break just before summer kicks off over here because it's obviously too hot. Cool. But I think most of the codes do the same thing. So we're timed pretty much with rugby union and whatever else going on out here, netball and stuff. So in terms of growth, it's been over the last 4 to 5 years. It's been hard because the expat community in Dubai, it seems the older people who'd been here since the 2006, 2007s, they've gone. In terms of schooling's got very expensive, or families just can't afford to live out here anymore. Right. And as a league, I think, I know the union is exactly the same. We depend on expats playing this sport for us to grow. Yeah. Okay, so in particular, we as a club, as the Dingoes, don't have the luxury of being associated with a construction firm or a massive, worldwide firm that people come and work in Dubai. Yeah. Dingoes is a sporting club you want to go to. They will be going to Multiplex, or they will be going to Jebel Ali, the Dubai Dragons, because these guys are all working in the same global firms, and it's very easy for us. And it's funny. You look at our lineup as a team. We have 3 Australians, including myself. 3 only.
Only 3.
Yeah, 2 of them who grew up playing the sport.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up playing the sport, and the rest of them are internationals. And I'm talking about the Irish, Canadians, Americans.
Really?
So our team's quite diverse.
Yeah,
they've picked up the game like I did myself playing here.
That already throws a lot of challenges in itself. To, like you said, like the other companies have their support systems, they have their growth and stuff like that. So, I mean, you guys are just word of mouth. That's what I can see it's happening with that.
Yeah.
Then what's the struggle with? And you find these guys are coming. Where are these guys coming from as well? I mean, because obviously, you're pulling them from rugby, you're pulling them from the league.
So what we've done is that a lot of us have played or do play for other teams, come sevens times and stuff like that. So, when you've been here for a while, people know that you do play the sport. Oh, I want to come give AFL a try this season. Oh, yeah, come for it.
Yeah.
And sort of you bring them in. It's not a hard game to learn. It really isn't. It's a very easy game to learn. It's basically get that ball, kick it between the 2 poles in the middle, and that's it. It's almost it's a contact game of soccer. Basically.
Okay.
So,
Simple.
Going back to the question, where are we finding our guys? The Gaelic football out here.
I was about to ask about that, actually. Yeah.
So the two codes are very similar. If you look at the pros back home, a lot of the Irish boys have made the pro league and play for AFL Australia because it's that easy of a crossover.
Yeah.
And they're really good. They're really fit. So we get a lot of the Gaelic boys wanting to come and play because what they do, they only play a tournament style out here. So,
like a weekend tournament every now and again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're frothing to get on the pitch and get some game time and keep fit.
Regularity.
So they come over to us and play for us.
Yeah, cool.
So, right now the Irish community are saving the AFL right now.
Must be bloody good banter after the game too.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Yeah, and that's one thing, especially you look at the Dingoes, is that, as I said, it's an international team. You look at it and go, there's 3 Aussie blokes on it, and the rest of them are from everywhere.
Right. You think of AFL, you think Aussie Rules, you think Aussies, Australians. Exactly. That's what you think.
Yeah. It goes back to why the league started. It was to do that, to do exactly that, bring communities together, bring different people together, and get that.
I think it's probably why most of the sports here started.
Absolutely,
expat came together. Rugby was like, let's get together.
And for the most part, we're 30 plus. Males and females can play the game. We've had females play on our team in the past.
When you say females, you mean like there's a dozen, 1, 2?
We've had 2 or 3 on the same team. Like, it's just it'd be like the rugby now have their female competition. We don't have too many AFL women players out here, but every now and then they'll pop up and they're like, have a game.
Yeah, I bet you they're hard as.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have had that. But as I said, it gives that drive as a community, and we definitely need to advance that. And that's why I think as of next season, which will be the 2020-21 season, we may be going into a same as the Gaelic, as doing their
tournament style. Yeah.
Just because then we can have all the teams in one place, we can get more support. Because to be fair, we're up against the union. Every time we play, the union's being played at the same time.
Yeah.
No one's coming out to watch us.
Yeah.
But then you look over the field and
even union struggles.
Yeah,
so I mean,
exactly.
if you've got a minnow spot up below that, I mean,
exactly. So we're thinking about going into tournament style, and that way it attracts more sponsors. Because if you can get 4 teams, you potentially got
exposures
up to 100 people out there one day, plus their friends.
Totally on top of that.
So sponsors more attractive.
Let's go further into that one, because it's the development of the UAE. How many UAE players get involved? I mean, you see, you got international squads comes to the Dingoes. The other one's got their multiplex. How many Emirati players?
That's the thing. It's a tough one to sell, unless you've got Emirati friends in your circles.
Yeah.
And which a lot of us do, but it's convincing them on a Friday. All our games are played on a Friday.
Oh yeah. True.
And that's the thing. It's a hard one. It's a holy day out here, and they're usually committed with family and stuff like that. We've had a few train with us, which is good because they're quite fit. They're naturally quite fit in terms of running, cardiovascular. But then when it comes to the contact, it's teaching them how to, exactly the same.
Take a hit and give a hit.
Exactly. So it's a tough one. And there's
so many more sports too that a lot of Emiratis do get into, as far as like football's a big one out there. The judo is becoming bigger and something like that as well. Yeah.
So I mean, we'd love to see it. That would be the dream for any code out here to have full Emirati players representing it. So
well, it's good to see it started in rugby, right? The Shaheen has just started off that league. That's a good push forward on that one. Yep. Where do you see it being in the next 5 years? Where would you like to? Where would you see it being, and where would you like to see it in the next 5 years?
I would love to see it grow into. Being here so long, I'm in two minds about what happens to the expat community out here in general. It gets younger and younger every time, right? So
seriously,
and it just seems that these young generations, sport's not high on their agenda. Playing it anyway, they'll watch it. They'll go and watch the football at the pub and the rugby.
Social here.
But to go out and play it, I believe it's a dying thing. You. As far as I know, there was a rugby club, the Eagles Knights. One of their teams folded last week.
Yeah, the Division 2 rugby team just folded. Yeah,
that's a huge thing that happened for a club. That means there's not enough players playing.
Totally. Yeah, right? Well, both teams, the 2 teams had to pull out of the division. Yeah,
there you go. So that's a shame. But I can also see that happening to our side too, because as I said, we rely on players coming from expat backgrounds.
It's funny you talk about the age groups too, the 30 to 40s mostly is in the AFL, and with it getting, you're right, the other thing's getting younger and younger.
Absolutely.
So that does kind of put you guys.
And for us, as we grew up, for me to take over the Dingoes when I did, I was young. Number one, even though saying this sounds stupid, but when you're in an expat community and someone goes, "Look, it's your turn to run the club," and it's up to you now. It's a privilege.
It's a responsibility too.
But you feel proud. You go, oh, well, if you're handing down the reins, because that certain guy, Mick Patton, was the guy who started the club originally. Same thing. He was basically, he left Dubai after, I think he was here 13 years.
Jeez, really?
He was back in the day. But he left, took his family back home and said, now it's up to you younger boys. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Do you think at 36 years old I want to be playing AFL on the weekends? Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. I'd go out there for minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Last week I played a full game.
During your 20K, bro?
Mate, I honestly, and I was down on my haunches at the end of it going, what am I doing?
Bro, you look like you're built for power, not speed.
Mate, exactly what it
distance,
is. Exactly what it is. But it's hard because we don't see the young ones lining up going, let us play. It's hard, man. So
it's true. I've seen it in other sports as well. Absolutely. That's the exact same thing. And I don't know if it's the expats in this region that have privileges.
No, absolutely.
There's privileges, and they kind of pick and choose what they want to do, and they just kind of blow things off. And the importance of you look at sports back at let's say Aussie or New Zealand, you look at Aussie Rules in New Zealand, there's a lot of kids are proud just to play the sport, and Kiwis are proud just to play the sport,
it's funny. We had a young fella named Charlie rock up 2 weeks ago, out of nowhere. His dad brought him down. Big unit, to be fair, and British kid, right? And I was like, asking him where he came from. He said, "Oh, look, I wanted to run with one of the other teams, but their roster was full, so I didn't really get much time. So I know you boys,
in AFL, I
know you boys are sort of looking for players and always looking for players."
Sorry, can you jump in? How's the roster full when your sport is struggling?
When the teams like, let's say the Bulls or the Dragons have their regular 16 players, you're not going to get a run.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean, there's 9 on the field.
Yeah,
you don't need that big of a bench.
Yeah.
So we took him, and I didn't bother to ask how old he was because he looked probably 25.
Oh yeah.
Last weekend he comes out and plays with us on the Thursday night game, and I'm like, "Charlie, how old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 15." Really? I went, so he's a 15-year-old playing sport. And you know what? To his credit, he's playing with men.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, none of us look like what men used to look like back in the day, right? Do you remember you'd go,
freaking guys.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when, I was 14, 15, and the 35-year-olds were like, they look like men.
Yeah, real
right? So it's
Miller going, I don't know about it.
So it's not like that anymore. But I was like, mate.
But back then though, the generations were smaller too. I mean, I know a lot of kids my age were a lot smaller, and the adults were like bigger.
This kid's 15, man. He's a monster. He's a monster. So I'm like,
it's sport though, bro. Man.
Look at and he held his own for the last 2 games. He's held his own because I was very. Like in the changing rooms the night before, I was saying to the boys, if he gets picked on out there, which they will once they find out his age, you get that. Whatever happens on the field stays on the field.
Yeah.
But whoever's playing in the same or region on the field, have his back.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'll be sweet." I'm like, "Okay." And he did, man. Like I was like,
no problem. Right, that's we've got a few minutes, only a few minutes left. But when it comes to sports, and it's quite cool that you brought this one up, the younger generation coming through, and I know through watching rugby, I know a few players that aren't around this 15, 16-year-olds that are playing Premier Rugby here in the UAE, and there's that how do you say, youth today are not what it used to be back in our day. I mean. Literally, there's so much the performance of them, the I don't know, the enhancement or growth or whatever it is. It's just the athletes becoming such better athletes so much sooner in their younger adult lives. I mean, look at the international stage, and you've got kids that are freaking 15, 16 represented on international levels. It's like, what the heck? How much do you see of that in Australia with the sport over there? Because it's such a high.
Listen, we only shared the story yesterday. A 16-year-old Fijian Australian boy has been offered by an NRL club a $10 million deal over 3 years. He's not even old enough to sign his own contract. Okay, South Sydney Rabbitohs are going to buy him.
Really?
Yep.
Fuck, insane.
That's madness. There you go. So yeah, to answer your question, like you said, kids are now that if they've got their mindset and mind right. At the ages of 16, 17, they were able to perform at the highest level. Then we only saw it happen a couple of times when we were growing up. I know Sonny Bill was one of them at his age.
Bro, yeah. Right? But it used to be like they would be brought in when they're 20, 21. They would international. It was like they were hooked up at maybe 17, but they wouldn't play until
exactly.
These days, so they put them on the field.
Exactly,
Put them.
So yeah, it's definitely out there.
Right, that's a whole other topic. Talk about later, youth and sport, because it's freaking insane. AFL, you see it developing. You want to see it develop in the next 5 years. Do you see with the tournament style? Do you see it as a positive?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the only way for our league to survive. To be honest, we don't have enough teams, we don't have enough expats coming into Dubai, as far as I can see it, to filter into these clubs to make them thrive. So, tournament way, it keeps it exciting, keeps the league exciting, keeps the sponsors happy who are giving these clubs money.
Totally.
And it's, I think it's the best way.
Cool, man. If people want to get involved with the Dubai Dingos or else, what do they do?
Yeah, so they can follow us on our Instagram or Facebook pages, Dubai Dingos. You'll type that in, you'll come up first. Or follow AFL Middle East on Instagram and Facebook, because that's where all of the information gets filtered from all the clubs as well. So,
brother, we're going to be back on the show to talk about other things. Big Box is coming up soon. It's been launching. When's it launch?
March 1st.
March 1st? Yeah. Boom. There you go. Dubai Dingos, Streetwise. Yeah, I'm going to leave that, guys, because we've got so we're going to bring him back on and do a few more things with him as well, different shows. If you have any comments, questions, chuck them in the comment section down below. Let us know your thoughts, your ups and downs. It's all good. Remember, the Find for People app will be available at the end of February on Android and Apple Store to help you find the best professionals, events, and courses around the region. Guys, we'll be back daily, 10:30 every day, so you can tune in and ask your questions. Until then, take it easy. Peace out. We'll see you later.